Oops, I was just turning off my heater. Hi everyone. Today I am going to explore some channeling spirit talk with you today. I'm just going to do my usual share into my groups and then I'll get on with it. I was just turning off my heater for anybody who watches the replay. Oh gosh, I hope you're having an amazing weekend already. Hi, whoever's joined. Hi Zita, lovely to see you. I'm just going to share now and then we can get started. Oh, I need to get that out of there. Hi Daniela. Oh, I'm so glad you could make it. Good to see you. So I'll just share into my group. Oh, it's been shared on my timeline. That's okay. My usual messy shares. Now I'll try into my group. Share in, let's see what happens there. Hi Ashling. We missed you for the pendulum night, Ashling. I hope you've watched the replay and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the hypnosis. That's one of my new hypnosis. I've got a series of new ones that I'm going to introduce into the group, into my new channeling group, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. Okay, group. Put this in my group. Share in a group. Okay, it's in. So, here I am talking about channeling today. So a little bit of housekeeping. I'm stopping by because I am running a 4-week channeling training, online training through via Zoom, and then we also have a private Facebook group that I'll be putting content in there, training materials in there for you so that you can practice the work that we've done on in our group session and to practice with each other and to share content. So we're going to work on 4 key areas in this practice. So my purpose for doing this channeling training is to give you a tangible experience of spirit or the light beings so that you can learn how to download or receive light codes and receive messages and share that with your community. You might be someone who's a healer or a spiritual healer or a therapist, counselor, and you want to enhance your practice in a really creative way and in a guided way where you may feel called from something greater than yourself, to participate or to serve humanity. And channeling is an incredible way of being able to be in service in a way that enables people to open up to their own, to empower their lives and to open up to their own creativity and their own spirituality as well. It's such an incredible tool to learn how it teaches you how to trust yourself, how to trust your intuition, how to trust your instincts, and to develop a relationship with your inner world, your inner being. We are just bombarded out in the social world, particularly, you just know, in social media with so much stuff, so many videos, and I liken it to, hi Rebecca, I liken it to being like we're watching all the for use of a better word, the crap in the monkey minds of others and being bombarded with it as being truth, and it can be very confusing. Particularly this year has been it's been a challenging year. 2020, we're never going to forget it, right? So challenging. And I think one of the big lessons I'm learning about this year is learning how to trust myself, how to trust my inner being, how to trust my intuition, how to trust my guides, really stepping into the power of that. And I've grown exponentially this year because of it. Whatever's been going on globally, it has forced me to go inwards, and I'm so grateful for that. But I want to share this with you. I want to teach you how to do this too, so you can empower your life. So there are 4 components in this training. So it's the heart activation, and I'll talk about the heart activation later on in another live session. I'll do another Facebook Live. So I want to give you a sense of your heart consciousness so you can feel into that, so you get a sense of your soul's signature, to feel into your inner being. And so the heart, I believe, is the portal. So we'll wake up the portal between, your heart is like an interface between you and source and you and spirit. And then we'll open to channel. So I'll teach you how to open to channel, embodiment practices to tune into the somatic, the tangible experience of spirit, rather than having a cognitive experience, having a full-bodied experience. And it builds trust. It gives you that sense of evidence and trust, and you can feel into the frequency of your guide and get to know how they feel, because it is very much an unseen world. And when we're focused on the cognitive, we can get caught up in our own monkey mind. The body is an incredible instrument. So we'll access spirit through the entire being, not just here. And then I'll teach you how to interpret the messages as they come through. And it does take practice. It really does take practice to be a clear and concise channel. It's very easy to distort the channelings, and I'll teach you what that looks like when that's happening, how to read this light language that everybody's talking about. And then also channeling for yourself and others, and receiving divine compensation, being paid for what you do. And I'll give you a brief intro into some soul business mentoring in the session as well. So yes, so that starts on the 18th of August, I think. Better check, hey? I'm sure it's the 18th of August. Yes, it's the 18th of August. So it runs for four weeks, consecutive weeks. And the time it starts, it'll be on Tuesday nights, Perth time, 6 to 7:50 p.m. So it's nearly 2 hours, just under 2 hours. So, yes, that's it from me. So I will put a link now into the comments section. And then, yes, and now let's talk about channeling, shall we? One of the things, I've been channeling for, I've been channeling for, someone just sent me a message, always happens when I go live. I've been channeling for 25 years or 27 years consciously, every day, every single day, and I've learned quite a bit. I don't know everything. There's always something more to learn, but I have quite a vast knowledge because of the experiential practice that I've done. It's not something that I have learnt from reading books, although I do recommend one book, and it's called Opening to Channel by Sanaya Roman. I think it's probably the best book on the market. The other books, I haven't found value in any of the other books, but if you're interested in reading more, you could possibly source that book. It's a really good book. So yeah, I learned, I got to, I learned how to understand what was happening through that book, and then I just developed my own style, which is what I'll help you do. Okay, so I think I'm digressing. Let's talk about the topic. What were we going to talk about today? Okay, so what is channeling? I think first of all, I want to share this. You'll see me spell channeling. Sometimes it's spelt with double L, CHANNELLING, or sometimes it's CHANNELING. One is the American version and one is the English version. Sometimes I use the American version, sometimes I use the English version. It just depends on my autocorrect. I prefer the English version, but I'm not spelling it incorrectly. If you're wondering if I'm spelling it incorrectly, I'm not. It's just two different languages. So what is channeling? When you channel, what you're actually doing is you're a conduit. You're a conduit for creative energy or for source. You're a conduit. You're bringing energy through, and you're channeling it through your body, through your senses, through your being. You are a medium for spirit. That's what channeling is. You're being a medium for spirit. And spirit we'll talk about what my ideas of what spirit is. And so when you're channeling, what you're doing is you're bringing through creative intelligence. Sometimes I refer to this creative intelligence as divine intelligence, or light. You are light. The light has an intelligence. It has a consciousness, and you're channeling this consciousness through your being. And you're creating it into form. When you're channeling, you are creating it into form. And that form might take, in the context of maybe healing hands, or maybe you're a spiritual healer, or maybe you're using your channeling abilities to write books, creative projects. Perhaps it's to paint or dance, or singing, cooking, writing. The channeling moves through our being in unique ways. And it often, channeling, what it does is it amplifies our talents, it amplifies our gifts, it amplifies our genius zone, our genius within. And it exists, what I call channeling existing in the twilight zone. It's in this space between the conscious and the unconscious. It's your relationship with your personal unconscious, or some people call it the subconscious. And so you are, when you're in a channeling space, you're in a trance state, and you're accessing this stream of consciousness that exists between the conscious and the unconscious. And so it does take some practice to learn how to move into that space. You could perhaps maybe think of that space like daydreaming, when you go into that daydreaming space, or when you're deep in thought, or daydreaming, deep in thought, when you're focused, you're concentrating on something, and you're taken by it, you're captured by it. It's a channeling space, and it's a creative space, and there's all sorts of gifts that can be found in that space. So when we're channeling, when I teach channeling, I'm teaching people to channel light frequencies, and I believe that these light frequencies are conscious. They have an intelligence, and it's a bit like tuning into channels, different radio waves, or different frequencies of light. And this light has this harmonic frequency, it has this feeling tone, it has this energetic harmonic frequency. It's probably the best way to describe it. And you feel it through your being. It has a felt sense. It's a somatic experience. And this light, I believe, are what I call them light beings. And our cognitive mind and our imagination will put form to it, will give it some kind of form. And because we live in this 3D reality and we're having this human experience, we are somewhat blinded by this experience. Our cognitive mind can somehow, it creates walls, it creates limitations. And so I believe that the light, these guides are basically light in their most purest form. They are light consciousness, but for us to make sense of it, our human experience, we see it, they transfigurate into a form to create a path of least resistance, so that we can perceive them in some way that makes sense, that has some kind of knowledge, or it makes sense to us. So they take on many forms. They will choose forms. The light is intelligent. It's really intelligent. They will choose, the light beings will choose forms that are relevant to your personal growth, relevant to your evolution, relevant to your beliefs as well, because they want to meet the path of least resistance to support you. And so the form that they take is what I would call like a book of knowledge. The form is symbolic. It's an archetype, it's a metaphor, and we project that outside of ourselves to make sense of what's happening for us. And so we project these forms, and they are relevant. They are relevant to you. They are not by mistake. Often my clients, from doing one-to-one channeling, I see it regularly with my clients that the guides will often take on archetypal forms that are relevant to unintegrated emotional experiences that they didn't have as kids, to help heal that. Children who we have all had, none of us have had a perfect life. The guides will take on these forms to help heal. So if, for example, if you haven't had the most loving experience with your father, the masculine in your life, the guides will tend to take on that form to bring healing, to the potential for healing, for you to develop a secure attachment in another way. And so it's not by mistake. The forms that they take is relevant to your experience and to your healing and to your evolution, to help you integrate these parts of yourself that are fractured. Sometimes the form that they take might be medicinal in the context of, I don't know, maybe sometimes people see Native American Indians, and that's okay if you see that, that's great. There's usually something in that image that has relevance for your healing. So it could be perhaps you may need to incorporate more ritual or more ceremony into your daily activities. I don't know, it'll be unique for you. But it's, my point is that it's not by mistake. The form is really relevant. And so sometimes we judge, people will judge their channeling because they don't like the form that's happened, or, the form that's appeared, what has transfigured in their third eye, and they think it should be a different form, and they try and distort it or change it or make it into something else. The archetype has medicine. There's something in that archetype for you to work with, so don't dismiss it. It doesn't mean it's wrong. The guides in their purest form are light frequency. They are pure consciousness. They are light. We are light. They are light. We are light. In their purest form, as we are in our purest form, is light. So the form, I try, when I teach channeling, I remind my clients not to get too hung up on the form, but the form is relevant in terms of your own healing and personal growth, personal development. So working with the guides is like developing your own unique personal development program that's been made just for you. They will support you to fulfill your passion to purpose in whatever way that looks like for you, your soul purpose. So when working with the guides, often people will ask me, how do they work with you? Or who are they? And the guides, I consider them like mentors. They are mentors, mentoring you, teaching you, supporting you. They are counsel, and I refer to them as soul family. They are not separate from you. And I think this is one of the illusions that people have, and I'm going to talk about the myths in a minute, two really significant myths that I hear and that happen regularly during my sessions that can distort the sessions for my clients. I'll get there, but I just want to share with you who the guides are. They are not separate from you. You and the guides are one. You are part of you are a part of the whole. You're not separate from them. You are a fractal of their light. Sometimes I refer to it like being birthed from their light. You are a fractal of their light. You're not separate from them. And your relationship to the guides is similar to their relationship to you. You are teaching them. You put your hand up to come earthside, as part of your soul family, your soul team, to evolve their experience, to evolve your experience, to be part of this conscious evolution. You're not separate from that. It's not happening to you. You are part of it, and you're evolving the guides, and they're here to mentor you through this journey, earthside, which feels like, time has kind of warps it a little bit. It'll be over in a blink of an eye, but I know that it feels like a long stretch. Sometimes I sort of joke and say, yeah, we were the crazy ones to put our hands up to come earthside. It does feel like that. We are truly challenged. We are being challenged earthside, for sure. For sure, but we chose this, and the guides are here to support us through this. So, your relationship to the guides, they are here to mentor you, counsel you, support you. Your relationship is to teach them as well. You're not separate from this process. You are teaching each other. Just like any teacher learns, as when you're a facilitator and you're a teacher of a group, teacher of any sort, that your students are teaching you as well. They're evolving your practice as well. You're not separate. You're not, the journey is not a separate journey. It's a collaborative experience. You're working in collaboration. So, okay. So there's a couple of myths that I want to talk about. I'm getting this sense that I want to say something else. What is the why? Why do we channel? What is the purpose of channeling? For me, the way I work with channeling is that it has been such an incredible gift for me in this lifetime to help me align with my destiny, my passion to purpose. It has been an incredible support for me through the ups and downs of life, and it's an unwavering love that stays with me when I go through the most difficult times. The guides don't abandon you through your difficult times. I've read books before, some of the books that I wouldn't recommend. Some of these shamanic books where they talk about your spirit team leaving you if you make mistakes, essentially, if you're doing drugs or doing things that may not be spiritually evolved. They don't leave you. They're not leaving you. They're waiting for you to become conscious. They are there. They are there supporting you through that as well. They don't leave you as much as you might think. You may have read that. They don't. In fact, they are with you more when you are going through difficult times. They're doing the best that they can to support you through that, even if you can't sense them or feel them, during that time. So they have changed my life. The guides have saved my life on numerous occasions. It's been life-changing. I won't go into that now. Let's talk about the myths. Okay, so one of the myths that comes up regularly during my sessions when I'm teaching channeling, one of the blocks that often happens is that my clients often believe that channeling is happening to them, that they're not part of the process, that they're waiting for it to happen to them, that they're waiting for something to take over them, or to do the work, or to move in, or to take over the session, and they get out of the way, and this being just takes over them and will fix their lives. Channeling isn't happening to you. You are part of it. It's a collaboration. It's a collaborative relationship. And in fact, having this kind of mindset that channeling is happening to you puts you automatically in this powerless position. Channeling isn't here to disempower you. It's here to empower your life. And you are a collaborative, you need to participate in the channeling for it to improve your life. You have to be a part of the process. It won't happen without you being the channel. It won't happen without you. You are the interpreter of the light frequency. You are the one that's doing the interpreting. It's moving through you. There's always a part of you that's part of the interpretation. You are not separate from it. You're not separate from channeling. You're just not. You're part of it. So you never truly get out of the way. There is always a part of you there. And this is important to note, because if you expect it to happen to you without participating, you'll be waiting for a long time for it to happen, because it won't. It's like riding a bike. To get the bike moving, you have to turn the wheels. All good shamans, clairvoyants, mystics, they all know that there's a conjuring of experience to get the energy moving, that you have to be a part of making it happen. Like riding a bike, the wheels won't turn without your collaboration, without you moving the bike. And yeah, it will feel like that in the beginning when you first start to channel. You might question, oh my God, am I making this up? Yes, you are making this up, because it's not moving through your rational mind. It's moving through your imaginative, the space between the conscious and the unconscious, this stream of flow, this stream of creative energy. And there is a conjuring of experience to begin with to make it happen. So the guides are not going to take over your body. They're just not going to take over your body, but they will collaborate with you. They will collaborate with you. I've learned that through using my board. I've learned that through using my board, that you are not separate from the experience, that you are in collaboration with the guides, that they can't take over you, that you must be a part of it for them to channel through you. They just don't have they can't take over you. So you don't disappear anywhere, because you are needed. Your eyes are needed, your imagination is needed, your heart is needed, your body. They don't take over you, and you don't disappear. You need to. You're consciously awake. Usually, sometimes we go into deep trance state, and that can happen sort of 4 o'clock in the morning. It's a really good time for that to happen, when you go into a deep trance state and you move into that slipstream, that stream of consciousness between the conscious and the unconscious. But you're dreaming, and it's that dreaming space. But you always come out of it. You always come out of it. But when you're channeling for other people, and you're consciously, verbally channeling, you're here. You're present. You are present. So myth number one: channeling is not happening to you. You are part of it. You are in collaboration. You are a necessary instrument, and you are doing the translation. You are translating the light frequencies as it's moving through you. You are translating it, and there will always be a part of you. The guides need you to bring them into your conscious reality and into the reality of others. You're not separate from this. So when people, sometimes people will say, oh, I don't remember, I don't remember, I must have gone somewhere else because I don't remember the channeling. Well, I don't remember exactly what I said at the beginning of this conversation either. I don't think that's abnormal, and that doesn't mean that they've gone somewhere. It's just that we don't remember every single detail, which is why automatic writing is amazing, because then we have it there, or when we record our channelings, we have it there. But we don't remember every single detail of it. That's just like logical, right? Common sense. So, another myth, you've probably seen this before, right? So there are, channelings on YouTube where people are, being taken over, and then they have a new accent, a new voice. You don't have to do that to channel. In fact, it's just completely unnecessary. Yes, when you're channeling the guides, they kind of have their own nuances and you get a sense of their energy. But remember, you're always translating, so you're always part of it. You don't have to change your voice and turn it into another accent for you to be really channeling. It's completely unnecessary. You don't need to do that. In fact, I think people often do that because they want to prove to you that they are channeling. It's just unnecessary. It's really unnecessary. And in fact, it's pointless. It's just pointless. And it energetically, it takes you out of alignment. The purest form of channeling comes from heart consciousness, when you're being really authentic, present in the moment with direct experience, recognizing the truth that you are part of it and that it will sound like you because you are translating, right? So there's going to be a part of you in this. Mark my word, this isn't just my voice. The guides are here guiding me as I say this, but I don't need to take on another accent or put on a performance for me to share their knowledge. It's just, you just don't have to do that. If you want to do that, sure, go for it, but that's not proof. It doesn't mean that you're channeling if you're taking on some, putting a performance of being another character. It's unnecessary. There'll always be a part of you that is channeling. And once you recognize that truth, that performance can move out of the way. It doesn't need to be there anymore. It just doesn't need to be there. So often people will have doubts, and this is why they put on this performance. They have their own doubts. And these doubts are often conditioned voices, responses from the past, when we've had, when we're scared of potentially not trusting ourselves or making the wrong decision. And because the guides will often invite us to take risks, because they're here to support us to evolve and to grow and to fulfill our purpose, our soul purpose, our legacy. If you feel called by something greater than yourself, they're here to support us in doing that and to becoming more of who we are, expressing the universe together in collaboration, expanding the universe through our little being, right? And so they will stretch us, they will move us into places that are often challenging. That will require us to experience new and more vital versions of who we are, and that can scare us. That can scare us. And so sometimes we doubt what's coming through because it is pushing us into areas that are unfamiliar or that feel uncertain, and that uncertainty, we don't know what to expect from that. And so we may doubt what comes through because of that, because we don't know what to expect. And sometimes too, that it's so obvious. It's so obvious when the download or the light frequency, the information as it comes through, because it's so obvious. Sometimes we doubt it for that reason. Like, oh, it should be more complex, or it should be more sophisticated, or I should be hearing something more more intelligent. And sometimes we need to just hear the obvious. Sometimes it's the most obvious. And the guides tend to work with the next step rather than, 5 years down the track. Yes, we have a vision, and the guides like to work in the world of essence with that vision, but generally, they work with the next step. And the reason is because we have free will. They can't take over our body and take over our experience. They're not here to do that. And sometimes people doubt as well, because it will sound like your own voice because you are translating. So you start to question, what is this? Once you realize that you're not separate from them, and that you're part of this collaborative process, you can start to let go of worrying about whose voice it is. As you start to feel into the frequency and start to trust the sensation, the somatic experience that you're having, the feeling that it's giving you. Do you feel in a state of expansion, or do you feel in a state of contraction? Because if you're in a state of contraction, you can pretty much guarantee that you're channeling through a filter of fear, one of your lower, personality aspects, ego, self. We all have an ego. Can't get rid of that. So, yes. So there's a lot I can talk about. Sometimes as well, we doubt and fear because we have this resistance to change. And we have this, the block is the resistance to doing what we know is going to create change and transformation in our experience. And the reason why we're resistant to it, usually because we're afraid of the conflict that may unfold if we make those decisions, what it will call from you. If who will I have to become? How is this going to produce a new vital version of me? What is it going to call from me? How much courage am I going to need? How much strength? What values am I going to have to align with? What people am I going to have to let go of? What old life is no longer serving me, but that I will have to let go of? And sometimes it can create some cognitive dissonance, and we're so desperate to hang on to what once was, because we're afraid of what this new, more vital version of you will call from you. Because after all, the guides want you to become more of who you are. It's about evolving your experience, evolving you, becoming more and more of who you are. You already know who you are. It's about expressing more of that, becoming more of that through your purpose, through your destiny. And it is something that there's a will there when we're working with the guides, or working with Source, or working with the Creator. When we feel called from something greater than ourselves, there's a divine will there that you can't really ignore. You might have cognitive dissonance around it, the conflict, but the will, it's the will of the Creator. Ends up when you make a decision to work with this kind of consciousness, you feel willed. It's there. And yes, it will challenge you. It will challenge you around your beliefs. What I once believed, I've changed. I've definitely grown and evolved. My beliefs have changed over time as well, particularly around channeling. So, I think I'm going to leave it at that for today. So thanks for tuning in. Oh, you can't hear Marie? Oh, maybe it'll come through. It's probably happening on your side, because I don't think anybody's complained about it yet. I hope not anyway. That would be a bugger, wouldn't it? If there was no sound coming through. Hopefully it's just on your side. Okay, that's it from me. I'm going to head off. Have an amazing day. Don't forget the 4-week training starts on August the 18th. Would love you to be there. It's live training. I will be there to support you and mentor you through your channeling practice, so you can tap into your divine will and work on being the channel that you want to be for your communities, being able to share your creative art, your work, your purpose, channel your soul purpose. I'll support you to do that, to help you read for yourself and others with clarity, and so that you can have a tangible experience of the light beings. Okay, that's it from me. Have an amazing day, and I will see you tomorrow. Actually, I've got my live tarot tomorrow. I'll see you then. Have an amazing day. Bye.